Hello YouTube family. I hope you guys are all doing very well. Please excuse my appearance, but I just wanted to come on here. I know often I kind of share my testimony bits and pieces because I'm still in the healing process, but I've come to a certain revelation in my journey that I can completely trust in God, and it's okay for me to let go of the past and people in my past, and I should not have to. For me, I'm realizing that I shouldn't run back to the people who have abused and misused me. So today I'm going to be discussing how I've overcome narcissism. Yay, our favorite thing, right? Especially when I realized what narcissism is, it's just different levels. And I feel like in my life, I know in my life that I've experienced different levels of narcissism. I was the golden child and I was the scapegoat. So it's just and I've been the golden child and scapegoat all at the same time. It's just a really interesting story, and just something that I've learned that I don't owe anyone anything, and the best thing that I have done for myself is to separate myself from all these toxic individuals and to have the courage to let them go and to go no contact with many people, including my own mom, aunts, uncles, even my own grandmama, my whole family. I cut ties with my entire family. So let's just get into this. So where do I even begin? Like many of us, you grow up, you're born into a toxic family cycle system or whatever, where if there's ever issues within the family dynamics, or there's ever just issues within the family, it's never discussed. And oftentimes when you don't fit in, when I don't know, like you're like the black sheep, you see the truth, you see through people, you kind of like, you're the one who speaks up, you're like, why is this like this? Or you kind of see things like for what they are, but it's like just unspoken, like you shouldn't speak up about what's going on, or you're going to be villainized, you're going to be ostracized, you're going to be demonized and accused of being everything but who you actually are, and you're going to be gaslit, and people are going to try to make you not believe in your own experience and accuse you of trying to mess up the family, of trying to hurt the family, of trying to do whatever. And God only knows like the lies that they tell when you separate yourself, right? But I separated myself from my family. I've dealt with narcissism my entire life up until the point that I decided to move out of my hometown, move out of the state, and just start my life over on my own. And I feel like wherever you could pray, you could stay. If you're not religious, that's okay. Just know that escaping that situation is better than staying in a toxic dynamic and being around people who are abusing you. Sorry if I'm talking fast, but for me and my testimony, I started off being a golden child. So my parents divorced. My mom moved us like an hour away from my dad and all the family. So I kind of grew up isolated from my family. I didn't really know, like I would visit and stuff like that, but I just never was close to them when I was a kid. So I grew up isolated, and I grew up watching my mom and sister just fight all the time, because my mom was really controlling, and so I just had front row seats of just like what it looks like for my sister, who just wanted to be herself and not be controlled. She hated being controlled. And my mom just trying to like be overbearing and stuff. And so it was always a battle. My sister would always run away. just like a lot of stuff. She was put in military school, just like my mom called the police on her, just a whole bunch of stuff. And I remember thinking to myself as a kid, I'm like, okay, if I just obey my mom's rules, if I just be a good kid and not disobey her and just do everything she wants me to do, I'll be good and she'll love me. That's where conditional love comes in, but I'll get into that. But she'll love me, she won't treat me wrong, or she won't treat me funny, and I'll be okay. And when I turn 18, then that's when I'll do what I want to do. And that's what I did. So I turn 18 and I decide that I want to, like, I get a boyfriend at 18. I'll date him for like 2 years, whatever. He ended up being a narcissist too, so that's a whole nother story, you know. But the moment that I decided to do something for myself or make a decision for myself, my mom immediately disowned me. And it was like the most heart-wrenching thing, because all my childhood I did everything to please her, and I had this codependency of getting validation from her and doing everything that she wanted me to do. Just basically, like I said, just people pleasing, and like just just so I can be loved by my mother, and not disowned by her, because that's just like, who wants to be disowned by your own mom? But while as a kid, let's rewind, as a kid, like being a golden child, no, I played the cello, I was like on a roll, I just did everything to like just make my mom happy and please her. And mind you, my parents are divorced, so, or were divorced. So it's like I would be with my mom and I'm the golden child, but then I go to visit my father and his girlfriend. The opposite is like being in the house with him and his woman, his girlfriend. She would make me into a scapegoat and accuse me of being just this horrible kid. And mind you, I was just really quiet and shy, and I just kind of stayed out of the way. Like, I never wanted trouble or problems. I'm like, you know, it was just like, she was like a lower level, like, narcissist. I don't know the name, but she was just a woman who is really insecure. And I think because I look like my mom, she had like issues, or she just was really just jealous, and just she was just a hurting woman, and she took that out on me. And she would accuse me of just having a problem with her, and I never disliked her. I never really had an issue with her. But she would accuse me of like stealing things. She would accuse me of like of just a bunch of stuff. And every time her and my dad would argue, I was always put in the argument, when I'm literally like, all I would do every time I visit my dad was just like be in my room, hide out in my room, because I couldn't take it. And there would be nights when she would drink all the time, and she would like come up to my room, like like I remember one time I was sleeping and she like climbed in the bed with me and was just like saying, I'm sorry. And she was like rubbing my hair. It was like one time I was taking a bath and she like burst in the bathroom and like was yelling at me. I'm like, I don't know what's going on, due to like her and my dad arguing. Just a lot of times this woman would just face me drunkenly. This drunken, insecure, sad, hurt woman would just take all of her anger out on me. And she even convinced her daughters, her family, her friends that I was a problem child, and that I would just cause issues, when really I just was trying to stay out of the way and not really be about drama. I'm not really confrontational. So I deal with this for like, from the moment that I met her till like my father passed away. So I dealt with this for 13 years. And so let's fast forward to like, I'm 18 now, I'm an adult, and I go off to college. and I'm doing my own thing. This is the moment when like my mom kind of disowns me for choosing to have a boyfriend and to make my own decision not to do what she wanted me to do. She hated my boyfriend, which, I mean, yeah. But anyways, this is a time when, like, so I'm on campus. I never visited home with my mom because I felt like with my dad, at least he was more like understanding of who I was and like not like crazy about controlling me. But then there was like the other hand of dealing with his woman. So it's like, I don't know, if I wanted to, it's kind of like a flip coin. Like, do I want to deal with like being on the bad side of my mom? I just felt more like in my adulthood, I just felt like I gravitated more towards my dad. So every weekend I would visit him. I would just go home to his house for the weekend because I like, you know. But anyways, so my dad got sick. He got cancer, and this was during the time when everybody had to move into their houses and quarantine and all that good stuff, isolate. So had to move off campus my sophomore year. This is like 2019-20. And for 6 whole months I lived with my father and watched him decline. And while I'm living with him, I'm dealing with abuse from his woman and her family because she convinced everybody that I was a bad person, and so telling lies against me, all this craziness, while I'm trying to be there for my dad. One thing that I will say about this, my dad's girlfriend, is that she did take care of him, and so I will give her that. She took care of my dad while he was sick, and I'm pretty sure that he told her to keep it a secret that he was dying. But I was trying everything in my power. Like, I'm just this college student, sophomore year. I'm like, you know, just trying to figure out who I am. 19, 20-year-old kid, still trying to figure out my life. Still trying to, like, yeah, get a grasp of me, choosing what I want to do, all this stuff, who I want to be, and how I want to present myself in this world, whatever. But all that kind of got interrupted when my dad got sick, moved in with him, and I'm like, okay, I kind of like tried to distract myself from it, but I did everything that I could to try to help save him, but he slipped through my fingers pretty much. But I put all my energy into just being there for him. I would, it's kind of like, it's still fresh, but I just did a lot to be there for him, and I tried to save him. I really did. I tried to save him, and I was there for him until the very end, until I watched him take his last breath. And that was a lot for me, because after I lost him, I didn't have to deal with his narcissistic girlfriend anymore, which that was fine. But I was forced to move in with my mom, who, she hasn't really experienced the adult, like, new coming adult version of her daughter. She's always been used to just me being a people pleaser. And due to the fact that I lost my dad, due to the fact that I endured what I endured, being there, living with him, watching him pass away, dealing with the narcissism all at the same time, of just watching him decline and all this stuff, like, the people pleaser in me died with my dad. Like, before he died, I internally made a pact within myself, like, oh, I'm not gonna, you know, color outside the lines. I'm gonna just live a regular, normal, mundane life. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm just gonna stick to just like what's normal, what pleases the family. I'm gonna get my degree. I'm gonna live a regular, normal life. I'm gonna be under the radar. I'm not gonna speak up to anyone. I'm not gonna, like, you know, I'm just gonna be the by the books type of person, just regular, boring, like, not gonna follow my dreams. I'm not gonna entertain my passions. I'm not gonna speak the truth. I'm not gonna shine, like, try to put myself on a platform. I'm just gonna be a regular person, just regular schmegular. Yeah. I'm not gonna be authentic. I'm just gonna do what everybody wants me to do. And so after my father died, I did not have a single ounce of people pleaser in me. Well, I wouldn't say that, but I just came to a point where enough was enough. I couldn't suppress my feelings. I couldn't do what was done throughout generations to just hide what I'm feeling, put on a mask, and to pretend like everything's okay. Other things in my life and in my past, I could suppress and push it down and pretend and just go with the flow of how things were, just pretending and being in denial about all the things that happened to me as a child, and even the trauma that I experienced as a little girl, abuse, and all of that type of stuff. Just things that you don't talk about in family dynamics. And this is a trigger warning, so I don't want to trigger anybody, but I just want to be honest about my experience and hope that this can help somebody in their experience too, if this is what they're dealing with. But I was molested as a child, and not just once, not even twice. And I know it didn't start with me, and I pray to God that it ends with me, but it happened within my family. And it was something that I couldn't face up until like later. And it's something that I always repressed and suppressed within me. But that's just like one major thing with like within the family that's like a problem. But when you have a narcissistic family dynamic, it's like everything that's a problem within the unit, nobody talks about it. Everyone's in denial, and everyone's just pretending like everything is okay when it is not okay. And so my daddy died. I moved in with my mom, and I couldn't be the kid that she probably expected me to be. All I could do was just grieve my father. And when I did that, I was accused, and I was just like mistreated for grieving. I was, what's the word, criticized. I was criticized for grieving. So I moved in with my mom, and for one whole year I laid in my bed, and I stopped going to school. I was getting really bad grades. I made it halfway through each semester, and I told my professors, I'm like, I can't do this. Like, I was getting horrible grades. So I'm like, I need a pause. And they gave me an extra year to finish my studies. I'm being honest with you guys, so don't judge me. But also with work, I worked like from home. I was like a call center person, whatever. And I would get drunk. I would just like drink, and my supervisor, she would be like, we can tell when you're drunk, like we can hear it. So I stopped working because it was just, I couldn't do anything. So all I pretty much did was just lay in my bed for an entire year grieving my dad, because that's all I could muster up. That's all I could really do. And I would smoke weed every day just to numb the pain, to numb myself of the thought of losing my dad, just to cope with that. So that's what I did for a whole year. I just laid in my bed mostly and just numb my pain, and I let time just pass me by. And I was criticized for spending an entire year just doing nothing. And I was called lazy and unmotivated, and like I have a problem, like there's like something wrong with me. Obviously there's something wrong with me. I lost my dad, but my mom turned it into this thing. Not just my mom, but my grandpa would call me on the phone like, oh, you're lazy. And I just didn't feel like anyone gave me any empathy in that time. So I realized I realize, as I'm living with my mom, I'm like, it's just certain things I would try to talk to her about, and certain things that I just try to like discuss with her, and just to have honest moments. And it was like, I could never really like have an honest moment with my mom if like she never would take accountability for anything. I would like try to I'm sorry, I got distracted. I heard my neighbors yelling, so don't mind that. Anyways, but a lot of times I would just try to have like honest moments with her and like vulnerable moments, but it's like she could never really be honest and vocal about like herself, um or her past. And it's never like, it's not anyone's place to like pry or to, because I don't know how traumatic my mom's past was, but it's like even when I'd ask her questions just about her life, she would just like, just something like kind of that disturbed me was like, I asked her about her past and she kept repeatedly saying nothing was wrong with my childhood. My childhood was fine, my childhood was great. And she kept repeating it like over and over and over and over. It's like almost like as if she was trying to convince herself. But again, I would like try to talk to her just about things that kind of like hurt my feelings, or just how certain ways that she would make me feel. Because mind you, I haven't lived with my mom since I like was in high school, because I moved on campus. So it's like she hasn't experienced this new version of me where I'm just like becoming an adult and like detaching from like being codependent from her. And so that, pretty sure that sprung up some issues. And it was just something that just made me see the true side of my mom. And I love her so much, but it was just like, I realized that my mom is a malignant narcissist, and God only knows the things that she could have said about me to other family members, or how she could have made me appear. But it didn't end with my mom when it came to the abuse. So I made the decision to leave my mom's house. I couldn't live with her anymore, because it was just like, even though she would say one thing, it would be she would do the complete opposite. It was like, she's like a malignant narcissist, and those are like one of the most like top like narcissists of like just really manipulative, and just accusing you of a lot, and just really strategic in how she wants to like present herself. I feel like growing up, she just wanted everyone to view her as being perfect and without flaws, without mistakes. And she wanted her children to reflect that. And so throughout my whole childhood, I would always just like fake a smile, and that was just how me and my sister were, just faking smiles and just kind of handling people at a distance, yeah. Just a lot of stuff that I realized about my mother. And it was something, because just being around her, it just got dark. It just got really dark. And there was a point where I just left without saying anything, and I slept in my car for like a week. And then I asked my aunt if I could live with her, and from that point I was just living from place to place. And yeah, I just knew that I had to separate myself from my mom. And I felt like after I lost my dad, instead of like protecting me, she kind of like just opened the door for other people to treat me wrongfully as well. So, I'm sorry, my neighbors are crazy. They're just yelling. Anyways, what's going on? Yikes, sorry guys. So I asked my aunt if I could live with her. This is my dad's sister. I figure like, okay, maybe I should just like be around my dad's family. Maybe that'll help me to get over my grief, get over my loss. And not that like there's really getting over grief or loss, is more of like a healing process. But anyways, I asked my dad's sister to stay with her in California for a bit, just to finish my schooling for the semester. And she took me under her wing, and she was really helpful. Honestly, one of the most helpful people out of my family, who like took me in and wasn't completely mean to me. But I got a little bit from her, but it wasn't as bad as all the other people that I experienced. The only thing was like with my father's side of the family, it was just a lack of boundaries, and it was like everybody knew everything. Nobody could hold water. Nothing was really like sacred or personal. And it was like, if I was to tell my business to somebody, everyone would probably know at some point. So there's a lack of boundaries. And when it came to my dad's family, there was a lot of criticism, people just criticizing each other, and sort of like a hierarchical kind of like situation. And so I think a lot of people just wanted to see me like go through the worst, and to treat me like I was worthless, and just a lot just a lot of foolery. It was bad when I moved back home, and I knew like, okay, I couldn't stay with my mom. I just could not stay with my mom. So I asked my dad's other sister to be with her, and that went worse than actually living with my mother. I don't know. It was something. I'm more than certain that she spread lies about me. She accused me of everything under the sun, and she projected a lot of her own insecurities and faults onto me when I was just trying to heal and get through stuff. At that point, I had let go of a lot of my things, and like a lot of my stuff was in a storage unit, so I was living out of my carry-on suitcase. And I probably wore like a couple pairs of outfits, and I asked her if I could stay with her until I, could leave and do what I need to do and get out of the city and all that good stuff, right? So I ended up staying with them for like 6 months, and I appreciate everyone who even let me into their home, but it always came with a catch. It was like, well, you can stay with me, and I can help you, but that's gonna be like at a cost of me talking about living with people, going from place to place, was basically like at a cost of being talked about and treated poorly. Even like being stonewalled and ignored whenever I would speak up. Just a lot of like manipulative stuff, and people trying to speak for me on my behalf without my consent, right? And just trying to paint this picture of something and someone that I absolutely am not. And it just spread like wildfire, like within the family. It was just like everybody ganged up on me. Like no account for the fact that I lost my dad, that I lost the home that I was living in. I was going through just hardships from losing my father financially, just a whole lot of stuff, and I like pretty much had to like start from ground zero, and I was scraping and just like trying to like work my way up pretty much and just try to like make it. And I was made fun of for like the clothes that I wear. Everyone was calling me a bum, and I found this out through children. Literally, like, it took a 2-year-old saying, like, 2-year-old was saying I was a bum. Like, are you kidding me? Kids were disrespecting me and making fun of me and my situation. Just a whole lot. Just a whole lot of just like manipulative speech, just like subliminal like FUs, you know, like reading in between the lines, like I'm insulting you, but I'm not really insulting you. Like, I would never insult you, but, and just saying things like subliminally just to like let me know like I don't care about the family, like I'm just making it seem like I'm selfish or putting my healing before pleasing and doing whatever other people wanted me to do. So I'm selfish, so I'm a bum, so I'm a slut, I don't know, whatever that they wanted to make up and to talk about and to bash me on. I was everything but a child of God, okay, to these people. And whenever I would speak, whenever I would just like say anything, not even to speak up to them in whatever that they were talking about and you know, blaming me for, they would call me an addict because I would smoke weed. And I'm not gonna lie, I would smoke to numb my pain, but I mean, like, come on. Just with the whole situation, it was just like I was being kicked while I was down. Nobody really like wanted to defend me. And I was just ostracized and demonized, and the whole family just rode along with that and just went with it. Thank God I'm still here, right? Thank God that I believe in a higher power, or else who knows like what my outcome would have been if I wasn't strong enough to get through all of that stuff. But I would tell people like my dreams, and I would tell people my plans. I would say like, yeah, I'm gonna be moving, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna, you know, move out of state. And everybody would just treat me and make fun of me like I was they would treat me like I was crazy. They would treat me like I was just delusional, like I was losing my mind. Like, they would laugh at me, they would snicker. I'd be like, yeah, I'm moving here. And like like, okay, yeah, like, sure you are, whatever. Just a whole lot of stuff. And they made me the villain. Because I decided to go my own way and to choose my own path. They did not agree with the fact that I wanted to leave my hometown, and I was just treated like a bald-headed stepchild. It was not fun. But then, and I was even like gaslit or tried to like it was like the perceptions were so heavy on me. I'm like, I was starting to question like who I was. I'm like, I know I'm not, like, am I really like that? Am I bad? Like, I'm not even doing anything. I'm just trying to survive. I'm trying to like make it. I'm trying to heal. I could not cry in front of these people. I felt like I was under a microscope. I could not like breathe funny, or else I'd be talked about. And nothing that I would do, just anything was just a problem. Me existing was the issue for them. So I got out, and it's taken me some healing. It's been nearly a year since I left my hometown. It'll be a year in a couple months, but I'm happy. And I'm not gonna say that it's easy. It gets a little lonely, but I have God, and so that solves that problem. Sorry. But it takes being separated to really like feel that freedom from like people telling you who you are and what your future is. Everybody like assumed that I would be like homeless or like addicted or like just really worse off, probably, I don't know, just whatever horrible that you could think of. But I got out, and I started over. And not to say that life is easy, or like things are like, you know, I mean, like, I would hope that things are better from here on out, but I get to choose how I get to be treated by people in this world, and I don't have to make myself endure that abuse, especially after losing my dad. I feel like now that I'm separated from these people, I can grieve properly, and I can live in a healthy manner, without having to like worry about like being judged for being myself. And I still kind of walk around with a little social anxiety, and just like I'm kind of like cautious of people, because of all the judgment and criticism that I faced and endured. But I'm taking it day by day, and I'm learning that it's a healing process, and I'm realizing that a lot of the things that I went through, it wasn't fair. A lot of things that I went through wasn't fair, but I'm here, and I get to move on, and I get to leave that behind me, and I have the decision if I want to go back to that. That'll be at my own, I don't know. I think going no contact has been healthy for me. Honestly, I think it'll be some years until I actually speak to these people or be in contact with anyone, especially my mom, just everyone. I think after I lost my father, a lot of people showed me their true colors, and they took enjoyment out of my pain and my struggles. I was kicked while I was down, but there's a silver lining in knowing who's for me and who's not for me, whether it be my own family or not. It was a tough decision letting these people go. It wasn't like an overnight thing, and little by little I've been loosening the reins, but I feel like now I'm at a place where I can go no contact with certain people and not feel wrong about it, just because I know that it's what's best for me and what's healthy for me. And I know my story, I know my experience, so there's nothing that anyone can say that can discredit me or to like try to invalidate my experience, because I know the truth, and it just feels good to just get this off my chest and share, because for so long I've always like internalized this entire process for years. I'm 23 now. This has been going on for a while, so I'm happy to just let this video out, and if my family sees this, then no hard feelings. I love you guys, and for the people who haven't caused trouble in my life, I don't know, I don't know. You know, it's just been hard to tell who's for me and who's not. But I genuinely love everybody, and I wish everybody well. Just because I separate myself does not mean that I don't love anyone. I forgive. But I have to let go and forge on my own path and my own destiny. I think there's a season for everything, and so, like I said, no hard feelings. Love you guys. Just gotta do my own thing, and yeah, there's not much I can really say. I just wish you guys well, and to anyone else watching this who might like understand this situation, I know I'm not alone. I know this behavior isn't just tailored to my own experience, so I hope that this video helps those who share similar situations as well. Know that you're not alone, and that you can have a good life, and that there's freedom on the other side of all this torment, and that you deserve better than to subject yourself to toxicity and abuse. So, love you all. I hope you're well wherever you are, and God bless. Goodbye.